Okay.
Yes.
Thank you to having me to the PowerShell user group in Salzach. The main reason why I applied to this here is because the Salzach is behind me. So, well,
Perfect.
a little joke. So, but the Salzach is really behind me. But I applied because I love PowerShell. I'm working since I think 7 or 8 years with PowerShell and Azure Automation and so on.
Mhm.
And yeah, to a short introduction of myself, I'm Ahmed, or also called Arji. Um, I'm working as an IT automation consultant with Michael Seidel at Automator. Love PowerShell and process automation. So all things you can imagine with PowerShell, I'm trying. So yeah, I'm from Austria, and you can also use these QR codes to find me on LinkedIn, GitHub, or at the left side, the QR code for my blog, PowerShell Works. Yeah, then go on to the agenda. Um, so far for now, does anyone have questions? I think not. Okay. Yeah.
You mentioned Automator. So we had
Yeah.
Michael Seidel also on in the user group, but it was
Yeah.
I think 1 year or 2 years ago. Can you explain, or I don't know if you have it in your presentation, what Automator is?
So
Because you,
Automator is
yeah.
a Microsoft self-service engine.
Mhm.
So you can use Microsoft System Center Orchestrator, Azure Automation, or PowerShell to run automations. So
Mhm.
you have a front end with questions like something for user onboarding, and then you can say, okay, first name, last name, and more things, company, and so on.
Mhm.
Then click on Finish, and behind a PowerShell script, Azure Automation Runbook, or a System Center Orchestrator runbook is triggered. You can configure that like you want. Yeah, that is it. So you can run PowerShell code with a Automator front end.
Nice. Okay. Good.
Good. Okay. Today we had the intro already. So the next parts are speaking a little bit of what is Azure Automation and give a short overview of Azure Automation. Then we will go through the pricing and the service limits. This will be very short because that is cheap, and the service limits, we hit it 2 or 3 times, and it was like fun. So we don't like service limits. And at the end, we will have a demo in Azure Automation. So we will create the Azure Automation account. Then we will explain what are managed identities, how they are used, what are the differences of managed identities used in Azure Automation, why we use managed identities for the security purpose, and so on. And after that, we will also go through the portal, and I will show you all things what you can do in Azure Automation. And after that, I have prepared also a hybrid worker. So that's a local machine, what will be connected through Azure Arc with Azure Automation. And then we can run code on. This is no too far, so we will have a demo.
Yeah.
This later. So okay, now what is Azure Automation really? So Azure Automation is the automation framework of Microsoft Cloud Platform Azure. So you can run runbooks, and these runbooks, if you configure it properly, have access to all Azure resources what are persistent in Azure. So you can start a VM, stop a VM, get data from a SQL server, or even you can connect your on-premise servers or your on-premise directories, and for example, get all AD users, Active Directory users from your on-premise domain controller. Then you can also integrate third-party say third-party, not frameworks. So like you want to
the APIs, webhooks or
yeah,
so?
yeah.
Okay.
Third-party APIs and so on. So that is all possible, and you can trigger Azure automation from there. So there's no limit. So I have copy-pasted the Microsoft picture here. So to showcase that, at the middle we have the this don't work here. Okay, at the middle here, we have the computing area. So Azure automation can be run on Windows and Linux hosts on Azure, or on-premise, or in other cloud environments. So that means we can run Azure automation with Azure Arc on-premise. For that, we need a hybrid worker. So we can run runbooks, and runbooks are nothing others than scripts, PowerShell scripts or Python scripts in Azure automation. And this can be run on-premise or in Azure. Then we have the process automation part. So there we can orchestrate a process, create a process. And what I want to say, always think before you start to write the code. Always think of where I need access first, make all these things. Get your access for your resources, and then start to write your script. After that, we have also shared capabilities. So like I mentioned, the role-based access control, RBAC, we can configure the managed identity of Azure Automation to have access on all other resources in Azure. And we have also the possibilities to set variables in Azure Automation to use it in runbooks or set credentials, certificates, and so on. The next benefit we had, we have modules. That means we have a runbook environment, and we can add custom modules or modules from the PowerShell gallery. So you can use any PowerShell commandlet you want there when you import the module. Then the feature I like most of that is the source control feature, because you don't need to go to the Azure portal and in the automation account into runbooks. So you can deploy and create and develop your runbooks on Visual Studio Code, use the source control, and push all in the Azure automation, and that is it. In the repository, and we will also in the demo do this today, that you can see how we can integrate source control. And yeah, then we have the integrations I mentioned before. So you can see there's only some integrations. So Power Apps, Logic Apps. With Logic Apps, you have a HTTP trigger and can trigger runbooks. With Power Automate also. But I think at Power Automate, you need a license for the HTTP trigger. And does anyone know this?
Everything that is behind this, I think, needs a premium license. All connectors, I think.
Yeah, and this is the cool on PowerShell. You don't need a license to trigger it. So you can use a normal PowerShell runbook and can trigger the automation API of Azure Automation. And also third-party integrations like ServiceNow have a file integration for Azure Automation. It also costs something, but you can also do, we will do today at the demo also a short API with app registration. So you can use these codes then with PowerShell, in PowerShell or in C# or in JavaScript. Doesn't matter. You can trigger Azure Automation, and that is the cool thing. And one thing to mention is Azure Alerts. So you have the possibility to run alerts on your Azure Automation account. So when a runbook runs and the runbook has an error. So some errors are if you do some not good coding, you will get an error. And sometimes the error happens and the runbook completes. So there's a completed at the job, but there's still an error, a silent error. And you can, with Azure Alerts, create an alert that you are informed per SMS or per email that there are errors happened, and you have to check what happened. And also if the runbook is completely stopped, or you have some other things, some logs, you can create an alerting of that. Good. Then, do you have any questions of that for that here?
If you have any questions, go to the Q&A or go to the
Okay.
Just I think everyone knows what it is.
Okay, good.
That's
Perfect.
good.
Then we come to the pricing. So I have copied this today from the Microsoft pricing website, and you can see that the first 500 minutes of code execution in Azure Automation are free. And all what is beyond that 500 minutes, we are at 0.002 cents per minute. So this is a very, very, very cheap amount. So I have done a short calculation for 5 hours code runtime in your Azure Automation account. So if you have 20 runbooks or something else, and this runbooks runs a week every 5 hours. Oh, there's a typo, sorry. 5 hours a week. That are 300 minutes. And these are at the end in 1 year, 31 euro and 20 cents. So it's not much costs, but always that more you automate and that more automation scripts you have, that bigger will be the amount of minutes. So always when you write PowerShell automation scripts, Azure automation scripts, be aware of performance. So try to do your best that the scripts so fast as possible finished, because this is really, if your script isn't as faster, then you pay for that. And also for the environment, because there are running servers, this script, and there is burnt energy for that. So always take a breath and make your script a little bit performant.
What are watchers?
So watchers are a type of also PowerShell scripts, but you have 2 scripts. So you have one watcher script and one action script. Like the watcher script is watching you can configure it to that it runs every minute or all 2 minutes, 10, 50, or 1 hour, doesn't matter. So the watcher script runs every minute. An example is looking on premise on a file share if a file appears. So when the file appears, this watcher script triggers an action script, a second script. And the action script then takes the file and uploads it to SharePoint Online or do whatever with it. So these are watchers. So you have a script what is watching something or watching an event on premise or something else, and then doing an action when something happened.
That's cool.
Or also you can never done, but it comes right now in my mind, when you have a server where the CPU, or no, not the CPU, the storage is nearly full, 90 or 95%. You can also create a watcher for that. Maybe let it run every hour, and then when you see, okay, the server, the storage is full, you send an alert or something else, or trigger some other automation what will fix this problem.
And so I can give some examples of Azure automation scripts that I've seen. So for example, we have a script that collects the JSON of all Azure IP addresses that are available, because Microsoft always gets a JSON file out with every IP addresses and the DNS names, and puts them, for example, in a firewall. Or I don't know if this is available, but earlier there was some kind of a solution concept inside of Azure Automation where you have this start-stop VMs, for example. These are, I think, some examples what you can do with Azure Automation, because Azure Automation also can start the VMs. Normal in the VM in Azure, we have a stop plan, but not a start plan. And Azure Automation can help you with this if you have some requirements of shutting down the VMs at, for example, 5 p.m. and starting them again at 7. That can be done very easily with Azure Automation. Yeah.
Good. Then we will come to the service limits. So I have only written down some service limits here. So here would be the link for the Microsoft Learn documentation of the service limits, or put it in service limits Azure Automation in Google and you will find it, the file list. And always before starting a project or something else, what is a little bit bigger, always take care of the service limits. Because we had a customer at Automator, and he had a crazy automation with over 50 parameters. And he said, okay, Automator doesn't triggering Azure Automation anymore. And we are searching for the error, and then we recognize he have 51 parameters. So yeah, what is the solution? So you only can, it's a little bit hard, because if you trigger a Azure Automation runbook via API, it's okay. So you can use something like a JSON, put all parameters in this JSON, and then do convert from JSON, and you have your PowerShell object there. But in this scenario, it was only possible to reduce the parameters because we have question, and each question is a Automator parameter. So we are not possible to do more than that. And the second thing we had was the maximum number of concurrent running jobs, 50. So if this happens, you will be throttled, and your Azure Automation account or your jobs will be suspended and don't run anymore. And then are some other things. Maximum number of new jobs that can be submitted every 30 seconds per Azure Automation account are 100. So in the same time, all 30 seconds, you can submit 30 Azure Automation jobs. Then the maximum size of a module you can import are 100 megabytes. So if you write a module that's bigger, you can have problems here. The maximum runtime allowed only in an Azure runbook are 3 hours. When you use a on-premise runbook or the hybrid worker, so this is the same one. The hybrid worker, you can run it how long you want. Then maximum numbers of runbooks per automation account, 800. That is many. And maximum number of hybrid workers, 4,000. So the maximum what I have seen at the customer, what have many runbooks, was 4. So I don't know who used 4,000 runbook workers, but it's possible. Good.
And also some tips when you do modules with Azure Automation, especially when you import them. Be aware that it can take some time to import the modules. So if you said, okay, import module, then it's not. I think the longest time I have waited 5 minutes or so till it becomes available or so. So just wait a bit, because if they are not fully imported, then Azure Automation is not using them. Just a question for you: how do you automate your creation of Azure Automation with PowerShell or infrastructure as code or so, or do you do it manually on the portal?
So I can do it, but we have not everyday tasks that we need this. So we can do it, that is possible. So you can create your complete portal and the hybrid workers with a code. That's possible, but we don't. We have doesn't done it right now.
Just for the recording, it is definitely possible. You can use the AZ commandlets, or if you want to do it with Bicep or with Terraform, it's also possible to automate the whole process.
Yes, you can use it, and you can also administer Azure Automation with these commandlets. So you can export, import runbooks, start runbooks, and do whatever you want. Get jobs back, trigger jobs, clone jobs. So there's no limit for that.
Yes.
Good. And then I would say we will start with the demo. So. What screen do you see? This one.
I see the PowerPoint file.
Okay.
With the start demo slide.
Now we try something else. We will try to.
I think it's only the PowerShell, the PowerPoint application. I think you share at the moment. I think.
Yeah, something else. Wait a second.
So while you sort that out, has anyone any questions? Just go to the Q&A or to the stage or so. Anyone any questions about what we've seen so far? Nobody. Okay, good. Then.
Got a bit late.
Hello, are you saying something?
I hope so.
Yeah, perfect. Hey, Morten, how are you doing? How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How about yourself?
Yeah, perfect. What's your question?
I'm just wondering in regards to the limitations, because from time to time in my own environment, when primarily using hybrid workers, some of the limitations doesn't really reflect what I see in my tenant.
Okay.
Like, for example, the max amount of jobs that can run at a time. Is it just because the actual limitation documentation on Azure is more related to Azure only Azure only executions, or is it because that hybrid workers isn't as well documented? Because I'm just thinking with 4,000 hybrid workers, then only being able to start 100 jobs seems a bit ridiculous in my opinion.
Yeah. So if you have the limitation of 50 is coupled to the Azure Automation runbooks.
Okay.
So when it's running in Azure, when it's running in, I think it's down here, maximum concurrent jobs that can be run on a single hybrid worker. If you have, I would say, 4 hybrid workers, then this amount is 200. So
that's what I thought as well. Thank you.
Yeah. So every hybrid worker has an amount of 50. That is it. But
yeah, it's I think you can compare this also with GitHub or Azure DevOps. If you use GitHub's or Azure DevOps workers to execute a pipeline, for example, they run only for 60 minutes. If you use your own hardware or your Azure worker, then you can run indefinitely. So that's I think the same thing applies there for the hybrid worker. I think. Yeah.
Good.
Any other questions or something else? Right.
Okay. Then let's start with creating an Azure Automation account. So
just can you zoom into 2 times that we see it better for the recording also? So zoom in the portal. Yeah.
So it's better now, or you need more?
I think one control plus more. I think it will be good.
So perfect.
Yeah. I think we can deal with this. Perfect.
Okay, I think everyone knows what is the Azure portal, and in the Azure portal we can create resources like an Azure Automation account. So for that, you only need an active subscription and a credit card behind if you hit the limits, so that you can pay that. So then we will start to create you need a resource group. I have created here one resource group already. And then we enter our name. So sorry, it's lagging a little bit. User group. Okay, Germany West Central, I think that's fine. So then we can go to advanced and configure the managed identities. You can let them like it is. So the system managed identity is already there and is also enabled when creating the automation account. And the user assigned managed entity can be added, but it isn't a master creation, so we can do that later also.
Can you please explain what is the difference between a system assigned and a user assigned managed identity?
So I have prepared here something. So the system assigned managed identity is fixed on the Azure Automation resource. So when you delete the Azure Automation resource, you also delete the system assigned managed identity with it. So it can't be moved out or something else. So it's fixed with the Azure Automation account. And the user managed identity can be created in the Azure portal. So it's a standard managed entity. And you can also add permissions to her to access some services. Like the system assigned managed entity, this works the same. So there are no differences for that. But if you want to so if I need to add many permissions to my system assigned managed identity, that will be like a service user would have many permissions. So that more permissions I have, that more I'm vulnerable. So then I try to create more with the user managed identity. I have the possibility to make it more granular. So you can make a user managed entity to have access to Azure VMs. The other managed entity have access to Exchange and so on. And with the system assigned managed identity, you need to assign this managed entity all these permissions to use it. The other difference is, what you need to know is that you can't use user managed identity on hybrid workers. So when I connect hybrid workers and try to use user managed entities, that is not possible. It only works with system managed identities. Any questions?
Because I think the hybrid runbook worker will use his own managed identity, I think.
Yeah.
It's also a system assigned.
Yeah, and you don't switch theirs.
Yeah, and what is also cool about the managed identities is that you don't care about the secret management, so you don't have to have any secrets or so. You only ask for a token from an API. I think we will see that in the demo then later. It will handle the authentication also with itself, so you don't have to take care about secrets.
Yeah, and you can also do that on the hybrid worker, so you don't need something else.
That's a cool thing that comes with Azure Arc. That's really cool.
Yeah. It's the best thing of Azure Arc. I will also have in the demo how we generate secrets from the key vault only with the.
Nice.
So cool. Then we started here. We have a system assigned. We can go to the network tab. So we go on with the creation of the Azure Automation account. So we can configure network connectivity. You can use also private access. For our demo now, we will use public. If you have private access, you need to configure the firewall and your networking to work with that.
I'm not aware, but can you use private endpoints also with?
Yeah, it's a private endpoint here.
It's okay. So private endpoints are, you will have to have your Azure VNet and you register your Azure Automation account in that VNet, that will get an IP address, so that you can that you don't have to have your automation account in the public. You can use it out of your own VNet just for information.
But be careful if you use a private access and your VNet. Source control over GitHub is not possible because GitHub refuses something, so you can integrate it.
Okay.
For that. So for demo purpose now, we will go on the public access. Then you can, like in all other Azure resource, add a tag. What is later good for managing resources. And then you get to the review, check if your settings here okay. If yes, go to create, and this will need some seconds, and the deployment will be there. So here's the
it's definitely what is called a serverless service. It's not a VM or so.
And the creation of, I will mention that, the creation of the automation account is right now completed. So it doesn't take, I think, 10 seconds. Runbook needs 10 times more to execute on Azure. So it was the first time here. So what we now can see is the Azure Automation resource. And we will start on here, essentials. So what you can see always when you're scripting, you always need your resource group, your location not, but your subscription ID and so things. So you can get it from here. Then we have here the access control. Over here, we can manage who has access to our Azure Automation account. So and also later we need to add our managed identity to access this automation account when we want to integrate source control or run it over a RP or something else. But I could go here at the role assignment. I will try that. So choose a role, like contributor, go to members, select managed identity, or select a user. Doesn't matter. And add this user here. Then this user will have access to your Azure Automation account. Or select the managed identity and say automation account. And now you can also give your own automation account access to this automation account. If you don't do this, your managed entity doesn't have access. So you will run it from Azure Automation, but the runbook will go on error, will fail. So then we have here some things like tags, diagnose, resource visualizer, and then we come to process automation. In process automation, we can see the runbooks, our runtime environments, jobs, hybrid workers. So the first thing I will show you are the runtime environments. Because prior it was like you have only the fixed runtime environments, and you have added to the PowerShell 5.1 or PowerShell 7 your modules and updated it and used it there. Right now, the adding of modules for the standard environments is disabled. So if you go to the PowerShell 5.1 module and try to add something that isn't possible anymore, you can view what is in it in this module. So you can use all these commandlets, but you can't modify that. So this out of the box runtimes. But you are possible to create a runtime.
It was the first thing what confused me, because I was coming from prior to this, so the old.
I was also confused.
The old. So if you go to overview, you have a switch to old experience, and there you have your old portal. And I said, let's use the old portal. I created a runbook and it failed. I said, why? And then someone in the documentation said, use the runtime environments. Where are the runtime environments? Switch to the new portal, and there we see the runtime environment. It was a bit confusing.
Yeah. 100 agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we can do our PowerShell user group env. and say, is this okay? We want a PowerShell. We want to use as language PowerShell. So you can also use Python, but I don't think we are a Python user group, so we will use PowerShell. So then you can also choose PowerShell 7.4. And you can later also switch the runbooks in the runtime environment. So I will show it to you. And now we can add here packages. So you can add a module from your own or use the gallery, like, what was the name? Exchange Online Management. So I hope I have a typo. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you have the Exchange Online Management and see all commandlets available there. Select it. Say next. Great. And now your runtime environment will be created with this new module. So you can also use other modules, so it doesn't matter. And this is what Konstantin mentioned. The importing needs some time. But for this module, I think this will go really quickly. So they don't need so much time. It always depends how long the cloud minute is taking.
Just one question. So I see here the AZ module. Are all AZ modules, so are all AZ submodules automatically then supported there? Or I don't know. If
they are imported there also. When you import it's like in the other PowerShell, when you import the AC module, you import also all others.
Okay.
So
okay. Mm-hmm. Just for clarification. Perfect. So let's wait some time.
Yeah,
it's there. Perfect.
So in the prior version of Azure Automation, the importing of the Exchange Online Management module was taking 10, 15, 20 minutes. So right now they improved the process, I would say. Okay, then we will go back and go to runbooks. So here, and in here we can see all our runbooks. So we have 2 out-of-the-box test runbooks to test manage identity. And what you can also see when I create a runbook right now, we can import runbooks or use runbooks from the gallery. But there is not much need of that. So I always create my runbooks on my own, or nowadays with source control on with Visual Studio Code. So you don't need to do this anymore by hand. That is not best practice, but you can do it. So it's not forbidden. So then we will create a test runbook. Where's my code here?
Just asking for your opinion. What is your opinion about Azure Automation graphical runbooks?
I have created one automations before 4 years or 3 years, but that was pure headache. So it's something like because Azure Automation prior it was System Center Orchestrator, and at System Center Orchestrator, if you don't know it, it is the automation. It was the prior automation engine from System Center for the on-premise environment. And there you had your runbook designer, and in a runbook you have such activities. And there were also activities to delete the Active Directory user, to get the mailbox or something else. And they tried to build something like that, but not good. So it's not, this feature isn't used widely, and I wouldn't recommend it to use it. So you can use you have also those script steps, it's graphical runbooks, but it's more headache than something else.
Yeah.
So it's easier to write a script like we write a script in best practice with error handling and logging, and this is done perfectly. Good. Then we go to our runbook type. We use PowerShell, and then we have to say what runtime environment we have. So we can also see the runtime environment we have used here. So I need a little bit of water. So, but we will use 5.1 for showcasing because it doesn't matter what we use here. And at Azure Automation, 5.1 is the fully supported language. PowerShell theme is also supported, but it don't works always, and it's not supported with source control also. So, and then we can create our runbook. And I will paste only the standard code in here from the generated code. So it's just the standard thing from Microsoft. So I haven't written this on my own. Only to showcase you how the connectivity with the managed identity works. So the only thing you have to do on premise or on the hybrid runbook worker later is to use connect Azure account identity. And then you are able to use things like get Azure resource group. So, and right now we will try that. And can any one of the attendees say me what right now will happen when I execute this script? Will it work? Will it go on error or hit the failure?
I think so.
So it will be a failure or it will be working.
I think it will. I think it will be erroring out because you haven't given any permissions to the managed identity. Yeah.
So you're right. So right now, if we say later when we add here a hybrid worker, we can also choose run on the hybrid worker. So right now we haven't configured the hybrid worker, so there's no possibility to click something here. So then we go on start. And this is right now, I will prepare also in a second on the writes because this needs some time.
This is a new UI I haven't seen. Nice.
So then we go to our resource groups. So go on Inn-Salzach, and we will give our managed identity right here. I will give a contributor and then go to manage identity, select members, automation account, PS user group automation. Select it. So, and we can see, okay. And he says also, please enable the app role-based access permissions. So that this works. Then we will add this. You can design. So only to showcase, if you don't give permissions, it will not work. So you can create an Azure Automation account, but it can't do anything before you give permissions. So then we restart that and then check out what will happen here. In the meantime, this is loading. I will go back here. So I today was thinking about the test ban. So when I was new and started with Azure Automation, I was thinking, okay, test pane, cool. I can do anything I want and nothing will happen. And then I tried, okay, is this really like that? And I tried to delete a user or something else, and it worked. So always take care that the test pane is only there for debugging or developing things. And all you are doing in here is also actually happening. So if I delete a resource group, it will be deleted. If I delete something, an Active Directory user, it will be deleted. So always take care when you do a test pane, comment out your code or do some logic that can happen. So, okay, now we have seen, okay, we have connected with the managed entity and showing all our resource groups here, all our items in our resource group resources. So then we can go back. The next, so I have to look at my cheat sheet. So, and now we will try to do a connection to Exchange Online. So because that is not possible out of the box, we have to do also something with the PowerShell. We will go back here. Here. Then I need to copy my next script in.
And just for information, the authoring status is new. So if you want to use it, I think you have to publish it first. Then, because it's because it's now in what's called, I think, the draft phase.
Yeah, you can't start it or do anything.
So you have to do edit and then you have to publish it. Then,
thank you. So, and right now it's possible to run it. You can see also the start button was enabled right now. Mm-hmm. And you can also, after you start it from here, so right now I have to wait.
It's also taking a long time till it's
this
starting.
And when it's running on the Azure Sandbox, it's taking a lot more time than on the hybrid worker.
Yeah.
But right now it's starting, so it should be finished in some seconds.
I have to switch to the output. I think that we see something then.
No, it's starting right now, so you will not see anything. When it's running, then now it will display it. So you can also see live what is happening.
And see all the streams, output, error, warning stream, and so on. Yeah.
Here, errors, warnings. So we have here one warning, logs, and exceptions. So, and you can also create a monitoring what is looking on warning and informs you if you have a warning or something else. So to always stay aware.
That's what I think was the Azure Monitor stuff that you mentioned. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So good. Then I will create our next runbook. So that will not be much code. Only 2 lines. But for that we can use our new one. Change, review, create. And then go on here. Save that. So we will also only connect Exchange Online over the managed identity. That is it. It's not like the other thing will say connect identity. So we have to use the Exchange Online commandlet to connect. And we need the Exchange Online module here. So, and then we save that.
We need to do something at the Exchange side. So
we need.
Okay.
So then I will show you here my other screen. So we will do this with the graph module, PowerShell graph module. So we need first to assign the
Can you zoom in 2 times, please? Also, please, would be great. Yeah, so, I think that's good.
That's better.
Yeah.
So we will assign the Exchange administrator to our managed identity. And after that, we need to grant the Exchange manage as app permission to our resource, to the managed identity again. So first, we need our managed identity. What we can see here. So here on the identity, under account settings, identity. Now we can see our object principal, and this is our managed identity. So then we copy it, go back to our code, and add it here. So then we can connect Microsoft Graph. Connect here. So should be okay. Then we add these twos. Then we get the role definition. Here. So let's check the variable. Okay, Exchange Administrator looks good. And then we take a new role, create a new role assignment. And it should now be happened. Yeah, we've created the role assignment. Should be okay right now. And we can do this. I have prepared it here. The same thing with the graph. So we are don't depending on modules. So I'm a big fan of using the native Graph API with HTTP requests. So we don't never need a module to use to talk to Graph or something else or to Azure. We always can use it here with HTTP endpoints. But I have done it right now, so we go on to the next thing. I was a little bit silly that I don't add it here as the scopes before. So do that again. Then check the managed identity is here. It's okay. Resources.
So the first thing is you've done it inside of Exchange, and the next one is you're doing it inside of Entra ID then.
Genau. The next one I will show it right now to you. In Entra ID, there's an application for Exchange Online, and we are assigned the managed identity to this application. So I think I was finished. Yeah. Here. Then we will go back to our automation account. So we have this enterprise application here, and we added, I think it is here. Here it is. We added our Azure Automation service principal. So to say that every managed identity, we're talking about managed identities and these things, it's nothing other than a service principal, or in the on-premise environment before there were service accounts. So it's nothing else, but they are managed from Microsoft. So you don't need to do some password rotations or anything. That happens alone. We can see here our managed identity was added, and then we can go back to our Chromebook and try if we have a connection to Exchange. So go to edit. So then result site 1 test started.
So this is a good example, before you publish it, just go to this and test it.
Yeah, and try it.
And if it works, then publish it and start it with a normal process then.
Yeah. So it's starting. So today it's fast. So normally it takes longer.
Okay.
So and then we will make now one thing more, and then we will start to install the hybrid worker. So we see here the mailbox, the properties of the mailbox, and we can use it. So we can also set mailbox, do some stuff, set alias addresses, what we want. So we can fully manage Exchange Online from here. And without using of any username or password, only with role-based access. So then we will publish that also. And we have seen our runtime environment was working. Good. As next, we will use a normal managed identity. So we go to our runbooks. Need a new runbook. So right now we are trying to start a virtual machine and stop a virtual machine. So for that, we need the next. So we will do that with user-assigned managed identity. So that you see also how you can use a user-assigned managed identity. So stop runbook and die. Start stop. Here we will use PowerShell 5.1. Select. So review and create. Create. So good. Then we need our managed identity here. So, and one thing I want to show you how variables are working, because we don't use that right now. So first I will save here and publish. Then go back to the automation account. It's always switching here back. It says, and we under shared resources, we have variables. So here we can add variables like tenant ID, or we need the managed identity. So from our account, and then we will add our managed identity here. Sorry.
This can also be a secret, correct?
That can also be a secret. I will come later to that. So Azure Automation here. Identity. So you can copy that, then go back to the variable and add it here as value. And right now we can add this to our runbook. So you don't need always to find your managed entity. You go here and paste it. You can also encrypt it. So when you create it, the value will disappear and you never can see it in the portal again. Only if you create a runbook and you are returning the variable, you will see this value. And this is the problem I see here. It's not fully secure, let's say like that. But this for secret, this isn't. There is no other way, I would say. You can use also keywords, but at the end, also key, you need to have the in clean text format. So you need the secret always in clean text format. So you can't use it as credential or something else. So we have now our managed identity, and for showcase secret, description secret, we can also use here boolean, datetime, integer, or not specified, and write here secret value, doesn't matter. And you can see the stars, so you can't see it anymore here. And also you don't see the value here. Good. Now, when we go back to our runbox, we can go here, go to edit, and instead of this variable here, I put in variables, managed identity, get automation variable. So maybe you've seen it. You can also do set variable. So you can write it to these variables from your automation runbooks if you need it. If you need to store something. Good. Then this looks good. Our Azure identity, but we need another identity, not our managed identity. I have done I need to correct right now. We need this identity here. I will use this exchange identity because I have it here that we don't create it as new, and I have also permitted this identity to the virtual machine. So then we need our ID. Yeah. Go back and set it as variable. Variables. Variable. String value. Enter. So this doesn't. This is only a managed identity. What is called exchange. So it can also be called bullshit or something else. So it doesn't matter. It's nothing with exchange here. So then we go back to runbox. Go to runbook, and you can see because I was in edit, the runbook status was here in edit. Now you can always see if someone has done something, he will be in edit unless he publishes. So if the runbook also was published once, unless you change something in the code and don't publish it, it will not take effect. So only when you click publish, then it will take effect. So then we have here, you can see that one FD, assets, variables. Get it. Good, then we will go save this. Back, go to virtual machines. I have prepared a virtual machine here. So I have only created it. I don't connect it to it. Nothing else. It's only for showcase how we can start and stop it with the runbook. So, but first check the access control. Normally he should be already assigned. So go to contributor, members, and right now we need to go to user and groups and search for our exchange identity here. And then we select, and now we get an error because it's already assigned, I think. Yeah, because the roles elements already existing, we can edit. So that is good. So we now can start this runbook, and this runbook will check the status of our VM. If the VM is delocated, he will start. If the VM is started, he will turn it off. So then check that. Then we need to add our VM name as parameter.
So if you put in a parameter inside of a runbook, this will be presented as here as graphical input then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Or you can also trigger it with a webhook or with the API, but you need to add the parameters if it's mandatory. If it's not mandatory, you can execute it without it. If it's mandatory, you need always to put in some text here. And you can also use the PowerShell parameter validations for that here. That's also possible.
So if you want to trigger the runbook programmatically, you have to pass the parameter as, I think, then a hash table, I think then. Okay.
Yes. So starting. So, and at the beginning, Konstantin have mentioned automations with, wait a second, running.
Mentioned with past identity not found.
Wait a second, it's always at the count ID, user assigned identity. Is it because of?
Do you have assigned the user assigned managed identity to the automation account? Is that
Yeah. That is it.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. You are completely right. So that we have forgotten. We need to go to our identities and add this to here, user assigned. Add the exchange identity here that Azure Automation can use it. So thank you, Konstantin.
Yeah, perfect.
Good.
Perfect.
So it's a live demo, so sorry.
Everything okay?
But because I wanted to do all from null, that you can see it here. So
everything good. Everything good.
With try and error also. So then we go back to our automation. Go to test pane. Demo 1 and start it. So you can see there are a lot of things you have to be aware of before starting automating. So it's not that easy at the beginning to understand how this works, but if you have Konstantin, he helps you. So in the time this is running, we can go back to the code. And the difference you can see when we connect with a user assigned managed identity, we use like at the managed assigned identity, connect Azure account, the Azure identity, and then we only add account ID and the user assigned identity. That is it. That is the magic behind that. And now you can also always go to the last execution here and refresh and see what is happening. So we see our VM was delocated and should be started now. The form is running, yeah. And then when we go to our VM should be started. It's running. So and then we can trigger that again, demo 1. So now the VM will be shut down, so we don't need to wait on that. And we will switch over to deploy a hybrid worker, because right now we have only done automations in Azure. And right now we want also to trigger something in our on-premise environment. So for that we are using Azure Arc, and Azure Arc is the connection between Azure and our on-premise environment. So before we can add the hybrid worker to a hybrid worker group, we need to add it here in the Azure Arc machines. So if you have a virtual machine, you don't need to do that. The virtual machine can be automatically used for a hybrid worker. We will later see it when we add it to the hybrid workers that our demo 001 will be available there. So then we will say onboard existing machine, and then select our subscription, select our region. So I'm not in Africa, but I'm in Europe, North Europe. So I think Italy North is nearer on Salzburg than Germany West Central. Maybe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
Germany West Central, I think it is in Frankfurt or so. I don't know exactly.
Possible. Yeah. But I'm always West Central, so maybe they recognize that. We need don't to connect to SQL Server. We use the public endpoint here. We need no authentication. Okay. This here only downloads a script for us. So we have a script here, and with this script, we can go to any machine what you want. It doesn't need to be an domain joined client or something else. It can be a normal Windows Server 2025 in a work group or a other server, and so we can use that. We can copy that, and we can see the script generated, our subscription ID, our resource group, our tenant ID, and so on in here. So we can copy paste that and then go to our server. Here I have the. So this is a newly deployed Windows Server 2025. Have nothing done here, only installed Visual Studio Code that we are a little bit fast on the demo, and installed Git, but nothing configured. So right now we can also join the server with Windows Server 2025. You're possible to add it seamlessly, like launch Azure Arc Setup here.
It's also be possible with Server 2022. If you have a specific update installed, it will be also installed. Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we run also. I will show you the two methods here, what are possible.
So one downside of this is that in the scripted method, you are able to set tags, because you can also set tags in Azure Arc. For example, the location and so on, because it can be an advantage, because if you want to, for example, do some do some resource allocation based on tags, if you do it with the graphical way, you have to go to the Azure Arc resource and put it in manual. Yeah.
Good. We will do it with the setup. So we go next, check the system requirements, then he downloads the agent. The same script, the same thing the script is doing. So I think this is only a wrapper over this script here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they are using, but maybe they're also using PowerShell. It'd be interesting. So now they're installing the agent.
While we are waiting, pricing for hybrid workers, is it free, or do you have to pay something?
I have at my demo environment some hybrid workers since 1 year, 1.5 years, and never paid a cent for it. So I don't know how it's in the real enterprise. So I have to look at, but also our customers never complained for something like that. So I think it's free.
Okay.
So then we go to the configure page. So, and right now, this questions here, the configure page, the send into Azure will also appear when you run the script. Wanted to see that. So next. So we are Azure Global. Then we need to sign in Azure. Looking in. That here and that. So MFI is working good. Then we have done that. This is okay. We can go next. Make this directory tenant. So don't know why they don't pre-fill this. This is group Inn-Salzach, demo, and our region. We have here Europe.
It's Frost Central, so it's a bit
West Europe here.
Oh, okay, West Europe. Okay.
Go to next. Now the Azure Arc server will appear when this is finished. It will appear in the Azure portal on the Azure Arc. So we will go back here, close that. Yeah, here it is. And at the same time, you can also here see the connection was successful. We say finish, and that was it. Now we have joined it to Azure Arc, and we are also possible to use managed identities from this server, what is really cool. So you can, now I will show that to you. This was this FC application, yeah, fresh, connected, perfect. So now we can go back to Azure Automation. Go to our resource. Say here add role assignment. So members, manage identity. And we can see we have here one more machine, the machine we have installed right now. So our Windows Server 2025 has a managed identity. So you can use the managed identity to access services on Azure with your Windows Server. What is a big benefit of Azure Arc? It was previously with the old, I think this was extension based. No, with the old method, we connected the hybrid workers. This was not possible. So the next step is go to hybrid worker groups, and here we can now create a hybrid worker group. So in these groups, our hybrid workers will be located. So hybrid worker group. So here's hybrid worker credentials. We can also use custom credentials. That means when you execute a runbook or something else on the hybrid worker, these credentials will be used. And if you use the default one, the normal credential, the system account will be used for executing stuff.
Okay, so if you, for example, want to access a SQL Server or so, for example,
Yeah.
then you use the SQL account as your
Yes.
custom credential then.
Yes.
Okay. Mhm.
But if you do something else, something others also, not only the SQL Server, you have to think of that. So because this is for all hybrid workers then in the hybrid worker group.
And
So
a hybrid worker, is it? Can we think of something like it's some kind of gateway? So you have your entry point into your on-premises environment, and you can execute scripts
yeah.
on other servers also. Correct?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I have this schema here. So we can see here at the middle our hybrid worker group with our hybrid workers. That can be a Windows or Linux machine. So right now we are at a Linux machine. And when we are running jobs, we can run it on Azure. Or when we run runbooks, we can run it on Azure like we have done it. Or we can run it on premise. So you need the rights to connect to another server from the hybrid worker, like the domain controller. Then you can remotely connect to the domain controller and do stuff in the domain controller or on the Exchange server or on the file server, doesn't matter. So you can manage then your whole on-premise network.
So you can you will do it then with invoke command and so on, or what can you use then
You can use with the
for
test session. You can create a test session, PowerShell
Okay.
session, and connect to the other servers. But
Okay.
here's Elvo something you have to think about the security. So you should always not always, but best practice would be to use something like JR and create a constrained endpoint that you can only execute this commandlets what you are planning. So if you connect to the domain controller, then you can only execute get AD user dash filter and a specific value and nothing more. So if you have a script what is bigger, then you need to make your to config it that you can only execute this stuff or this stuff. Yeah, this is one thing what I would do when I'm doing this.
And it's
Yes,
also
if you
firewall
don't-
friendly because you have only
Yeah.
outgoing connections of port 443. So no incoming traffic and so on. Yeah.
And if you don't do that, you're more vulnerable. So if something breaks and something gets access to a hybrid worker, he has access to all servers you have enabled remoting to it, from the hybrid worker to all other servers. So that would not be that good. So always try to secure as most as possible. And JR is there a good solution.
And also a question from my side. So are you able to run to execute a runbook? This runbook returns something and you can reuse that in another runbook? Is it also possible? Okay.
That is possible.
Okay, cool.
Good. It's a little bit complicated, but it's possible. At the beginning, it looks easy, but we have to manage the output here.
Okay.
But it's possible.
Okay.
For sure. Good. Then we'll go back, and we are stayed at the hybrid worker creation. Then we will add here machines, and now we can see our newly created Azure Arc machines. And this is only here because we have added it to Azure Arc. Before it wasn't there. And we can see our Demo 001 machine, what is a Azure VM. But we now use only our newly created one. Add it here. Review and create. Create. So, and the deployment now takes a little bit. And then we are mostly finished with the hybrid worker setup. So there are only one thing more to do at the hybrid worker itself. Where's my server? Here's it. 2 monitors are too much. So what we need is to go and let me check if I install PowerShell. No. Then let me install it with Winget. So we need to install PowerShell 7 to use it on the hybrid worker. So we will do that with Winget. Should be very
As
fast.
for some advertisement, Server 2025 is the first server where you can use Winget.
Yeah. The others are not possible.
Yeah.
But you can also download the MSI or do something else and install it. It doesn't matter how you do it. So and after the installation, we need our PowerShell path where PowerShell is installed. And this should be here. PowerShell 7.
I have to do it in quotes, I think.
No, probably not. Oh, maybe I need to wait until it's installed. So looks good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have here the location of PowerShell 7. Copy the path and then go back to environment variables. Click here on environment variables and add it here. For administrator. Here a value. And as variable name, we use PowerShell 7 for path. So it looks like that. Here. So if you want to use PowerShell 7.2, you need to install PowerShell. If you have PowerShell 7.2, you need here to add PowerShell 7.2. It's also mentioned in the Macros documentation when you say install enable PowerShell 7 for hybrid worker Azure Automation, then you will find that and how this works also. So it's also documented. Then we go to OK. Say finish. Go back. Exit. And then we can try to trigger a runbook. So we have here nothing in. Then we will go back to Azure Automation, to runbooks, and we will create a new one. This is also so new runbook. This is my test runbook. PowerShell. We will use PowerShell 7.4 for that. We're using create. Because we have installed PowerShell 7, we will also check if PowerShell 7 is working. One thing more, we need to restart our server after done doing that. So I've forgotten that. So for now, I will be fast and restart it. Doesn't take.
I think you have to, yeah, perfect.
Restart. Continue. So this should be fast. So okay, and you can also see Server Manager is asking you to join the Azure Arc. So Microsoft wants dramatically to add all servers to Azure Arc. So then we will open again our.
I said that we display that even if the server is joined to Azure Arc.
Yeah. You want to join it a second time. So we go to our test runbook. We will put in some code here. Something easy. Only to check if we have a connection and if it's working. Then we're creating a file on C, and here we can now see we can access the hybrid worker, and we need to select our hybrid worker group. What I want also to mention is that we can only join one hybrid worker to one hybrid worker group. So you can't create a second hybrid worker group and add this server again as a hybrid worker, or create a second Azure Automation account and add this machine again as hybrid worker. So they're always possible to use in one automation account a single resource, a single hybrid worker. You can do it more.
If I add, for example, multiple servers to a hybrid worker group, can I tell the hybrid worker group on which server the script will run, or will the hybrid worker group will choose one server to run it on?
No, this is round robin.
Okay.
So I have tried it several times because we had some issues at some customer. The customer had 4 hybrid workers in one hybrid worker group, and has issues at some servers. So we had the runbook was working at one server, at the other server it wasn't working. So, and for troubleshooting, this was really hard because sometimes it works, sometimes it don't work. You can output on what server it's working and what server not, but you can't. You try to fix that, and then you run your PowerShell automation script, and you have to wait until it was executed on this server. Because it was round robin, sometimes you have tried 3 times, 4 times the script until it was running on that server.
Okay.
So there is no possibility to force on what server it will run. It will run in round robin. And also, if you do something on your hybrid worker, create files or log on your hybrid worker and so on, try to not do that if you have more hybrid workers. So you have a nice output and logging in Azure Automation. You can also get your logs from Azure Automation and save there at the other place. You can also extend the logs of Azure Automation. I think out of the box is 30 days, but you can extend that also. And then you don't need to put any logs at your hybrid worker because you have the Azure Automation already for that. So when we then start,
if I understand you correctly, then I think hybrid workers should be treated as some like a VDI environment where you have your template for your hybrid worker, put all your modules, all your stuff that you need onto them and deploy them with an image. I think that would be best practice then.
Yes, it should be as best as possible the same machine with the same infrastructure. So this would be best practice. If you have only one machine, that doesn't matter. So you can do what you want until it works, but it's not best practice. So always try to don't save local files or logs on your hybrid worker. Do that always in the cloud, or you do it on a SQL server. So, but don't use it because it's if you have 4 hybrid workers and one time the runbook is running on hybrid worker 1, if you logging and then you log to hybrid worker 2, you have 3 or 5 locations for your logs. So that is not best practice, not good. I have seen that because that I'm saying that. So
are you also able to stream them to log analytics or so? The logs?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they're at log analytics already.
Okay, nice. Okay.
So you can see this needs some time because my hybrid worker was restarted. So until is it here? Connected. I will try to run that again. Publish. Start again. Hybrid worker. Select an option. Start. Check where's the worker. The worker is up. So it needs always a little bit the first time till something happens. So in the meantime, this is executing. If it runs, still create. So in the meantime, we will go to the source control topic. That means we have an Visual Studio environment. And we want to manage Azure Automation with Visual Studio code, or with Git, better saying with GitHub. So I want to develop and code in Visual Studio because you have seen the editor for Azure Automation here is not the best one. So I need first to clone my repository here. I get it from GitHub. So go back. Then I log in. We will continue. So now we can see our repositories here. And I have created one repository called Inn-Salzach with some files. So, and now we are searching for a location. So we create here some Azure Automation sources and select this as repository destination. So then we open our repo. Good, and I trust myself. Perfect. And what I would always suggest when developing PowerShell, it's nothing what is crucial for Azure Automation, but it's better. Use Git and GitHub, or even Git for source control. You know that we are all started like that. So we have one folder with tons of PowerShell scripts. Then we changed something in the PowerShell script. Then we created a version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5, and that makes a lot of mess. And we don't need that anymore because we have source control. And it's really easy. You have seen it. So you have your GitHub repository, you clone it here, then you have your files here on your server. You can also do that on your local device. Doesn't matter because your repository is your master source. And yeah, if we change right now something here, add that to test and save it. We commit that. We test that. Okay, I have to. A second. Only configure my username here. The terminal.
Is
already
config-g user.name and user.email, I think.
Yeah. User.name here. And then user.email. Wait a second. Good. Now we have configured that, and now we can commit here. Yeah, that was it. And we can also sync our changes to the GitHub repo. Okay. And now we are safe. Good. What we now will do is we will add our source control to Azure Automation. So all our scripts here will be synced to Azure Automation. For that, we go back to Azure. Okay, this was a reason I don't know right now. Is it working? Why? And go here under source control. And under source control, we go to add, and we have here some possibilities. So we can add a source control over GitHub, a source control over DevOps, or DevOps TFVC. We will use right now GitHub.
TFVC, just for the recording, is called is Team Foundation Server Version Control. So that's the old way of storing files inside of Azure DevOps.
Okay, I've never used it, so I only use this too.
Yeah,
so,
it's the Git one. That's the new one. The TFVC is the old thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and for Azure DevOps you need licenses.
Yes.
And for GitHub not. So GitHub is.
If you are in the 5 user limit, then it's free. If you're over 5 users, you need to license it. Or you have an MSDN subscription, then you can also use it for free.
So then you can authenticate. It will ask you for your credentials, and then you select your repository. You can see here the Inn-Salzach again. And what is right now possible, you can select branches. And I have some environment where I have a production and a development, like you can see here. So I have a source control in the main branch. The production is the main branch, and the development is at the other branch. So I have the same source control, but in other branches. And I can, when I do some stuff in my development tenant, I use the demo branch. And if I see all is okay, I push it to the prod. For a little bit of developing stuff here. And then you can also add the folder path. If you have your whole folder, it's okay. If you have only some, so if you have this, like we have, it's okay. You can use the whole one, but sometimes so you have normal PowerShell scripts here, and you have here a folder like automation runbooks. Then you can mention this folder, and only this folder will be synced to Azure Automation. And not this folder, only this the files in this folder, and all others will not be touched and not be synced to Azure Automation. So delete this here again. Go back. Then we say autosync on. That means every time we commit the change, sync the changes to GitHub, our Azure Automation runbooks will be updated and automatically published. So you can also turn that off and do that manually, but there is no need for that. So then we're saving that. And right now we should have our source control. Good. Then we can go to sync jobs. There's nothing in. Go here and say start sync. And now our runbooks will be synced to Azure Automation. So that needs a little bit. So the runbooks, you will see that they are called runbook 001 Connect Managed Entity. I have this runbook in my repository, so it will be updated. runbooks what are not in the repository will not be updated. So always make sure if you have runbooks with the same names and you're inventing source control, take care that you have the right version of the runbooks. So I would do something like connect with the Azure Automation module. Then there is a commandlet called export Azure Automation runbooks. And then you can export all these runbooks to a folder, and you get this is a PS1 file, this is a PS1 file, this is a PS1 file. And then you can add this to a repository and use it. So let us check the source control if the thing is already done. No, it's all created.
It's all cute. Perfect.
Really cool.
Is it okay if I add a comment in regards to source control?
Yes. Yes, you can do that.
If you're using tags in any regards on any of your runbooks, that is in source control, just note that if the runbooks or PowerShell scripts are updated, then the tags will be cleared. Just nice to know if you ever wanted to use tags on your individual PowerShell runbooks.
Can you say it again?
Yeah, sure. If you have a runbook that is in source control, if you have a tag on that given runbook and then update your GitHub source control and then make it run a sync job again, then all of the tags will be removed. Just as well, if you
it's a good question. I never tried that, so we can try that.
Then the tags will be removed as well.
Okay.
Quite annoying if you wanted to use it for something like scheduling automatically, like we do at my company.
Okay. It doesn't sound good.
No, it's not.
It's quite annoying, let me just say that.
And what is also annoying, you can't use PowerShell 7 runbooks. You can only use PowerShell 5.1 runbooks for the source control.
Just to toot my own horn a bit, because that annoyed me as well. And about 3 months ago, the Azure Automation team had some issues with source control and getting that created. So I ended up creating a GitHub action to push the source control to Azure Automation instead of having Azure Automation pull it. If anybody wants to check it out, then it's called Azure Automation Source Control on GitHub.
Nice.
Very cool.
I can see that currently it doesn't support PowerShell 7.4, but it's an easier edition, so I'll just add it after the talk or when I have a bit of time. All that is needed at the top of the script is hashtag PowerShell 7.2, or if you're interested in doing workflows, then if it contains something like workflow, then it would create it as a PowerShell workflow instead, the same as graphical or graph PowerShell workflow. Also supports Python source control as well, if this was a Python user group.
Morten, I see. I think we have to do a session on this. You are now bored.
Yeah, I'll see if I get the time. I'll still get back to you on the other one. But
yeah.
Okay,
I'm jumping back to my seat now.
Perfect. But good to know. Thank you.
Good. Then we can see, okay, we have 5 files synced, and always when we manually start to sync, it's a file sync. So always the runbooks will be overwritten, all runbooks. Also, if nothing changed, the runbooks will be overwritten. If we only, right now, I will show you first that you can see the runbooks here. We can see here some more runbooks, and we can see the change time. So all these runbooks here are new this year. 855, 856. Okay. Right now, when we only change here one thing, add that, then only this runbook here will be triggered. So go on, test. Oh, this is the 001. So let us test this with these tags. So 001. tags. Test.
I think that is an annoying bug. That's not good.
And these tags are disappearing.
That would be a nightmare.
It would really be a nightmare. Yeah. So, and then commit that and push it. So, then go back. So right now, GitHub. What is GitHub doing in the background? When we push something, there's an what is the word for that? There's a it's too late. There's a webhook, and the webhook is triggering the Azure Automation source control. So right now we have to wait on the webhook. Go back to source control. Sync jobs. In some seconds it should be here. Yeah, it's featured now, and we can see it's an incremental change.
The technology is good, but if it's only supporting 5.1 runbooks, then it's also a Chrome product. So yeah.
But I hope they will develop it or do some energy in that.
I'm just adding, I talked with the product group. It's been a couple of months back, but they have plans, or it's in the pipeline to include further versions in the source control. The old source control thing is getting a revamp at some point.
Oh, cool.
Don't know when and don't have a timeline. Just letting you know.
Cool.
They have also said they want to sandbox the runbooks when you execute in the hybrid worker, that the modules of the hybrid worker are running through the sandbox, that you don't need to care about modules on the hybrid worker. But when this will be done, that's the question.
Yeah.
Like always.
Also, for asking a question about the hybrid runbook problem on the hybrid worker, I think when you installed PowerShell on the hybrid worker, it was 7.5. Can this be an issue? Because or is it totally, or do hybrid workers don't care what PowerShell 7 version is running?
They don't care.
Okay.
So, okay, it's running. So
it's succeeded. Perfect.
Then start. It's only the one.
Okay. Right.
And then we can go back.
Drum roll.
Hello. Okay, I don't know why this happens.
Yeah.
Runbook 1.
Tags, and they are still there. Okay, good.
So that looks good. So,
and now they fixed this.
That's nice to see. Just a few months back, it wasn't working. Just letting you know.
Okay, perfect.
And might be an issue with full source control then. I'm not actually sure. I know it also happened on incremental ones back then, but yeah, now it just looks stupid. Back to my seat.
Perfect.
Nice.
Okay. Now, because it's late, I will do something faster. So we will now go to Key Vault. And to show the managed identity stuff on the hybrid worker. I hope this, we'll see it if it works. So now we have to give our hybrid worker access to the Key Vault first. We add a role assignment. Role. Then we need a office or a secret reader. Key Vault secret Keyword secret officer. I mean,
So I think
users should be enough. So members, managed identity.
Harm, are you trying to say something because you are muted? You are still muted. You are still muted on the platform. Let me try to. Can I? No, volume is max. I don't know why this not.
So
why you are not muted or why you are muted? I don't know. Sorry.
Connected resource group.
Let's see. Maybe you're not in an active area, or you're not in a Q&A. Maybe that's the problem.
Is this better?
Yes, now I can hear you. Perfect.
I just wanted to say that I'm leaving because I have to go, but you're doing great, Ahmed.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening. Have a nice Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. And see you next year.
All right.
Yeah. Bye bye. Thank you for being here. Bye
Bye bye.
So this was suspended.
So let's see if it works.
Yeah. Because if this don't work, so if you can trigger any jobs, then
yeah, the job will be triggered, but I don't know if it's coming out of the queue state. But yeah, let's see.
Doesn't matter. Go here because so we have here a script, but I will show it here. It's easier. So can we make that bigger?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, we have the get access to script. Good. Okay. We have here our Azure Automation variable. And then we can choose if we are in the cloud or in the hybrid environment. And as last one, do we have an Azure Arc server or Azure VM? Because the endpoints are different when we're trying to get the access token. So right now we are trying. So first I will try if it's work. And then I will show you how the script is looking.
I think you have to install the PowerShell extension on the VS Code.
You're right. But it's very fast. I have said I had only installed VS Code, nothing else. So, looks good.
Right.
Then we can start access token. Go on. Check that. Why is my test still here? So you can see I have here at the bottom. Can you see that?
Yeah. I can see it.
This is my key vault secret. And here a second one for testing. This is my username. So, and why is this now cool or not only cool? This is very a big benefit, because if you have a bigger environment with 40, 50 scripts, or you have customers and you need to troubleshoot some scripts. So normally you have Azure Automation variables, like we had at our other script, and then you always for testing purpose to do it in Visual Studio Code or in PowerShell ISE, you need to change it per hand. And also, if you have secrets or something else, you will, because you're faster, you will hard code it and so on. And then you will forget it, and then it happens that it's not good to write secrets in a variable clear text or passwords. And with this solution here, we can use it in Azure Automation and in Visual Studio Code at the same time. So all variables can be requested within the Azure Key Vault. So we don't only click on we execute our function, and this function works in running it on Azure, running it on a VM, running it on Azure Arc, or running it here in VS Code. So that is a big benefit of this here. And you can also, when you do some modification of the script, you can also get access token for graph endpoints and so on. Yeah, this is the big cool thing with what comes with Azure Arc. So what we have done here, we can see we have these two endpoints, and we are switching from, if we are hybrid, we are using this localhost endpoint, and if we are Azure VM, we are using this endpoint. And this gives us at the end the response back with the token. And then we can use the token to do some stuff in Azure. Questions because of that? For that?
Martin, because you are the only one at the moment, do you have any questions or?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Because we have because we are now 10 minutes over. That's
Yeah.
I'm all good.
That is it.
Good. Perfect.
I'll just stick around here now.
Perfect.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
That
We are now 10 minutes over.
Way.
Yeah, perfect.
The only thing what doesn't work, let me check if it was working to see it. No, for what reason ever
that's totally fine.
Worked. Yeah.
Because it's a live demo. Some demos always fails. You know that. Perfect.
Good. Okay.
Good. Thank you for the talk. Thank you very much.